These antiques dare not be placed at home. Brothers, today's story comes from a boss who runs an antique shop, Old Zhang. Old Zhang's family has been in the antique business since the 60s and 70s, and by the 90s, the family's shop was handed over to Old Zhang to take care of. Because Old Zhang's family has been in this line for many years, many people all over the country are collecting antiques. After receiving the items, they would send them to Old Zhang's home. Once, a man named Uncle Li, as usual, came to the shop early in the morning with a black cloth bag, rushing in a panic. "What's going on?" Uncle Li has been treasure hunting all over the country for many years. That day, he just made a few deals, including an embroidered shoe. This embroidered shoe seemed very old at first glance, in the style of the Qing dynasty. Because it was a newly received item, Uncle Li first put the shoe at home, and strange things happened at that time. That night, Uncle Li and a few friends went home to sleep after drinking a lot of alcohol. As a result, when he got up to drink water in the middle of the night, he heard someone walking around in the living room. He poked his head out and saw that it was his son cleaning in the living room. Uncle Li's wife had been living with his son for a long time, and he was very happy to see his son being so sensible. He didn't disturb him and went back to his room to continue sleeping. But I didn't expect that in the following days, as long as it was 12 o'clock at night, his son would get up on time to clean, wash dishes, and wash dishes like a clockwork. The floor was already very clean, but he kept sweeping and wiping. Uncle Li talked to him, but he ignored it. If it's sleepwalking, it's impossible to sleepwalk every day. Uncle Li became suspicious, observed carefully, and found that his son was wearing the embroidered shoes, the pair he had collected a few days ago. You say a boy wearing embroidered shoes, cleaning in the living room in the middle of the night, and the shoes are still small sizes. How can a son with a foot size of 41 wear it? Uncle Li then realized that something was wrong. After all, he has been in the antique business for more than 10 years, and he has heard some strange things. Uncle Li guessed that there might be a problem with the embroidered shoes. The next day, he threw the shoes into the garbage can outside. However, that night, strange things happened again. This time, the son no longer cleaned, but sang opera in the bedroom, as if he had gone through to the ancient drama. Uncle Li rushed into his son's bedroom, and the embroidered shoes that had been thrown away during the day appeared on his son's feet again. The son crossed his orchid fingers, and his expression was completely different from before. Uncle Li called him a few times, but the son ignored him and sang the opera by himself. Uncle Li was anxious and slapped him forward. This slap finally woke up his son, but after waking up, the son didn't remember anything, and he didn't know what the embroidered shoes were about. This scared Uncle Li, and he quickly threw the shoes into a nearby well. But who knew that the next night, Uncle Li was suddenly awakened by a strong sense of suffocation. When he opened his eyes, he saw his son strangling his neck while shouting, "Why did you want to drown me?" Fortunately, Uncle Li always had a big teapot by the bed, and he picked up the teapot and knocked it hard on his son's head, knocking him out. After calming down, Uncle Li checked his son's condition for the first time and found that his son was drenched and still wearing the embroidered shoes. Uncle Li felt very puzzled. Could it be that his son went down the well to fetch the shoes? But the problem is that the well is very deep, and it's impossible to climb up. How did he go up and down? Thinking about this, Uncle Li became more and more scared, and he hurriedly took off the embroidered shoes from his son's feet. Strangely, as soon as the shoes were pulled off, the son woke up and, like before, he forgot everything that just happened. After listening to Uncle Li's narration, Old Zhang took the black cloth package in his hand, opened it, and it turned out to be a red embroidered shoe still wet with water. The pattern on the shoe is very exquisite, and the stitches are also very meticulous. After so many years, it has not faded at all, but because it is wet, the color appears more vivid. Old Zhang's family has been in this business for many years and has heard many strange stories, but it is the first time to encounter such a strange one. After thinking for a long time, old Zhang remembered what his grandfather had said: even ordinary antiques, it is best not to separate them in pairs, let alone those with unknown origins. The question is, how should this shoe be dealt with later? Old Zhang's second uncle made a suggestion to burn it. When burning the shoe, old Zhang was staring at it. Guess how long this embroidered shoe can burn ordinary shoes? 3 to 5 minutes will be burned out. As a result, this shoe burned for more than half an hour. It's like some museums abroad, there is no figure in the surveillance video, but the bronze statue turns by itself. Don't you think it's strange? So now, many of the antiques collected at home are placed in a special large room to avoid encountering such strange things again. Well, after saying so much, the question is, do you have any valuable old items at home? Well, see you in the next story.